Powered smart speaker and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
Busted.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Oh, this is delicious. This is just so good. Angela Davis, who is a longtime communist and professor, I repeat myself. She's at University of California, Santa Cruz, the Banana Slugs.
Right. Yes.
She's been a communist candidate for president before. Maybe her time is near arriving. She went on this PBS program that's hosted by Henry Louis Gates, also a professor. Remember, he was the beer summit guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, some cop in Cambridge looked askew at him, and he cried racism. And then Obama set together a beer summit with him and the cop, and we were going to, forever. The races were going to come together because Obama was going to heal the nation, and so on and so forth. How'd that go? Anyway, Angela Davis went on his program on PBS, Know Your Roots, and she found out something about her family's ancestry that she didn't anticipate.
Any idea what you're looking at? That is a list of the passengers on the Mayflower.
No, I can't believe this. No. My ancestors did not come here on the Mayflower.
Your ancestors came on the Mayflower.
No.
You are descended
No.
from one of the 101 people who sailed on the Mayflower.
Oof. That's a little bit too much to deal with right now.
Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, think that you may have descended from people who laid
Never.
the foundation
Never.
for this country?
This racist country, you mean.
Never.
Oh, my
Never.
gosh. Angela Davis, black separatist, card-carrying communist. She's just another honky like me and you. How about that? Now she's also, losing her breath because in California, that means she may be writing a $5 million check.
Oh,
she's on the wrong side of the reparations racket, too. Oh, my God. What a terrible day for Angela Davis.
I was going to say, this is a bad one, huh? How do you recover from something like this?
Isn't that great? Maybe Chadwick Moore can help her. He's written a book about it. Chadwick Moore is editor-in-chief at Outspoken, contributing editor to Spectator World, author of the book, So You've Been Sent to Diversity Training, Smiling Through the DEI Apocalypse. Chadwick, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Angela Davis may be in need of one of your therapy sessions. Any advice and counsel for her now that she has been outed as a descendant of the noxious Mayflower passengers who founded this horrific racist nation?
Yeah, a bad day indeed for Angela Davis to learn that she's an oppressor, and she's one of these people that if she's taken a DEI class, she'll learn that she's the problem, and she needs to basically sit down and shut up and listen to other people because she doesn't. She needs to learn to listen now and stop telling everyone how to live and what's wrong with the country. That's the road that she's going to be on now if we play by the rules that people like her have been putting forth in recent years.
Yeah, it's so sad when the anti-racists are cannibalized by anti-racists. So just a couple of quick bits of advice if somebody listening has been flagged for DEI training or DIE training, as I call it, the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion training. What should they do to get through it with their gray matter intact?
Well, so in the book, I talk to people from all walks of life. I talk to, secretaries, police officers, people in the military. I talk to guys on oil rigs and people who just, work on retail sales floors. And, it's amazing how it's one of these phenomena that basically, I kind of compare it to just before the fall of the Soviet Union, where you had these people in East Germany who before the Berlin Wall fell, they all sort of thought that all their neighbors were on board with the party line, and they repeat things they read in government papers. And once the wall fell, they saw this cascade of people pouring into the West, and they realized that everyone around them had been thinking and feeling the same thing that they had, but were too afraid to speak up. And this is something that you can compare to what I found, at least, this DEI training on the job, where, of course, everyone doesn't want to say anything against it. Everyone just kind of sits through it. It's basically kindergarten for grown-ups. It's the golden rule of treat others as you'd like to be treated has gone completely out the window, and now it's treat people differently. Most normal people are not thinking about or worried about the skin color or sexuality or gender of the person in the cubicle next to them. But for some reason, this force in our society and people in the C-suite think that they are, or at least they should be, really concerned about these things. So, I found people that were they would get kind of more amused or incensed the more they thought about what they went through in DEI training. And, of course, nobody wanted to use their real names. Very few people did because they're scared of these things. So I think that you probably would be surprised at how many people around you, whether they're liberal or conservative, are probably feeling the same way you are about these stupid things. And yet you have maybe a tiny percentage of your workplace that are these kind of radical, wacky activists. They are the true outliers. But, of course, they have the microphone, get all the attention, and all the praise bestowed upon them.
And Chadwick, I see that you sent a copy of your book to Don Lemon. What did you put
in
in the introduction? What did you write in there?
Well, so, Don Lemon has had to go to diversity training because of his misogynistic comments. So
and sensitivity training.
I would send him a copy. I did. I mailed him a copy yesterday or 2 days ago. And I wrote, Dear Don, good luck with the training. Love, Chadwick. So I hope he reads it, and I hope he enjoys it.
Oh, Chadwick, he's hurting. You forgot to say, Dear Don, I see you. I hear you. Then the whole good luck with the DI training. Yeah.
I should have called you first because that would have been much better.
Yeah,
right?
I'm guy. There's no when it comes to sensitivity training, you're talking to the expert right here.
I mean, did you find what he said offensive? I mean, I'm a woman. I thought, he's just
it's just being Don
Googling and admitting too that he Googled but didn't read through the headline of the Google.
Why doesn't Google have to go to sensitivity training?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought it was like a stupid and bizarre thing to say, but he's known for saying stupid and bizarre things, which is why we love him.
That's his brand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his brand, exactly. But I can imagine a lot of women at CNN were deeply offended by that. So that I can see how the network itself. I think normal people. It's almost strange that you would say that attack for Nikki Haley. I mean, you wouldn't say anything like that about Hillary Clinton or anyone of that party.
Yeah, right.
Like
yeah,
Dianne
right.
Feinstein. I mean,
yes,
the list goes on and on.
Well, and in political terms, by the way, 51 is not old when you're talking about running for state office, much less a national office. So something else too, and just speaking of crazy activists at work, Sam Britton back in the news. You caught the same story I did. I saw you tweeted about it. Sam Britton was the cue ball that was assigned by the Biden administration to handle our nuclear waste. And he does have a background. I think he's got a degree from MIT, so apparently he's a smart guy. But he's also a bit of a touched guy when it comes to fashion sense. And he's got sticky fingers at the airports. So he had to resign because he's stealing other people's baggage at airports, which is a odd version of kleptomania. But it's not just their bags he's stealing. Apparently, he may be stealing actual fashion designs. There may be copyright or trademark infringement suits against Chadwick Moore, at least by one woman in Tanzania.
Yeah, so it turns out this is, it appears it's actually true. This fashion designer, she's a black woman, she's Tanzanian, she lives in Houston. One of the bags that he allegedly stole belonged to her, and she's posting photographs of her designs and him wearing them in public. People on Twitter have been finding designs that might look like hers, photographs of Sam wearing these, sending them to her and saying, "Is this one of yours?" And she said, "Yes, that is." And then she'll respond with a picture of herself wearing it. These are, unique, original designs according to her. So these are an author-act garment. Apparently, this is true. It's sort of amazing. So not only is he deeply touched, as you described, but it looks like cultural appropriation to me.
Yeah, right.
And also hurting a black immigrant woman, stealing from her. Wow, this is going to be quite a mess for the left in the Biden administration.
The side-by-side picture is great because it's her in the dress that she designed, and it's him in the dress that she designed.
Oh.
And she wears it much better, I must say. That is the lunacy of this. We were talking a bit earlier in the show about Vivek Ramaswamy, the biotech entrepreneur announced for president, and his real offering in his announcement video was against all of this identity obsession and a return to meritocracy, which is also one of those verboten words in our culture these days. And so maybe there's not a third track right now for a Republican with DeSantis and Trump, but Ramaswamy, I think, is over the target when he's talking about identity politics.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, who knows what the left and the liberals up to or what they're thinking, but I mean, is there anyone who's not completely exhausted by this stuff, even on the left? I mean, we've been exhausted for a long time with it, but it's just as though they still have nothing else to cling on to. They still have nothing but, accusations of racism and white supremacy and what have you. And as long as they keep peddling that talking point and that narrative, it's almost like you have nothing left to do but respond in kind. So point out when one of their poster children, Sam Brinton, the non-binary radioactive drag queen, kleptomaniac, is stealing a black woman of color, a black woman immigrant's clothing and culturally appropriating it.
It's confusing times. What's your assessment of the performance of Mayor Pete so far with respect to just his job at Department of Transportation? It could have been the flights over Christmas or obviously the derailment in East Palestine now.
It's just the epitome of decadence that we see in the left and the Democrat Party. Everything around him is burning. He just couldn't care less. And going back to even before, but going back to the cargo ship crisis, and I think that was 2021, when he was just on paternity leave for a month while we had hundreds of cargo ships, thousands docked off the coast of Los Angeles, couldn't get supplies to people. He just doesn't care. He still is. While we have what happened in Ohio. The airline disaster of the holidays. It's like one thing after another with this guy. When's the last time anyone who's not into politics even knew the transportation secretary's name?
Right.
And now everyone knows Pete's because it's just one catastrophe after another.
Well, he's on the ground right now with a hard hat on and a safety vest. I mean, it's such a sharp contrast with what Trump had yesterday.
He's wearing drag.
When he's wearing drag.
Yeah, exactly. Now, to be fair to him, to look at both sides of the balance sheet here, he has taken a firm stand against white construction workers working in minority neighborhoods.
Yeah, he really has. And one of my favorite things about his, also the system that failed over. Oh, God, there's been so many. The other day, I guess it was maybe a month or two ago, when all the flights are grounded for a day because there's an error in a reporting system. That system, the only thing he had done since he'd come in is, instead of checking to see if the system was working properly, it's called Notice to Airmen.
Yeah,
well, one thing he did with that system is he changed it to Notice to Air Missions to be more gender inclusive.
Right.
So he changed the name of the system, but didn't check to see if it actually worked, so we had an entire day where no flights were flying in this country.
That's good stuff. Chadwick Moore, editor-in-chief at Outspoken, contributing editor, Spectator World, the book. So you've been sent to diversity training, smiling through the DEI apocalypse. Chadwick, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our